This week I want to talk about just the problem that a lot of us have with knowing what it is we want. What do we want from life? What do we want from our art? And that's what I'm going to talk about, like how to think about that. Why does it matter? And is it a realistic goal to have? Are we allowed to do what we want? I think that's so often the problem that a lot of us have is, are we doing what we want to do, or are we doing what the world wants us to do, or are we doing what your mortgage banker wants you to do? How do you figure out what is the thing that you would like to do? It doesn't necessarily mean, when I say what you'd like to do, it doesn't necessarily mean your job. It doesn't necessarily even mean something that you get paid for. It just means having a thing in your life that you're really excited about, that you're passionate about. So, jibber jabber, let me get to the point. So, every week I write an essay, every week I send it out, and every Monday I read the essay that I wrote last Friday. So if you didn't get it, you can hear it. If you did get it and you prefer to have it read to you, you've come to the right place. Okay, so this is the essay that I sent out last Friday, and it is called How to Fulfill Your Lifelong Dreams. It's also called, How to Figure Out What You Want. So this is the essay. Let me ask you a personal question. Do you have a passion problem? I'm not asking about your hormonal levels, but about your life's passion. Money, responsibilities, other people's opinions aside, what do you really want to do with your remaining days on Earth? And it's going to be a really hard question for a lot of people to answer. And it was for me too. There I was for decades. I was working in a respectable career, and I was good at it, and it paid my bills. But I always had this kind of itchy little sense that I should be doing something else. I just didn't know what that was. And these days, I am following my passion. And I spend all day making stuff. I write, I draw, I read, I talk to my friends about the stuff that we're making together, and I never dread going to work. I'm never bored. I don't hate my boss. In fact, my biggest problem is that I don't really want to ever take a day off. Weekends and vacations are less fun than pursuing my passion. So how did I get to be so lucky? Well, I remember interviewing an illustrator, and she said something funny that really stuck with me. She said, I spend my day listening to Harry Potter books on tape and drawing, just like I did when I was 6. And I think that might be the key to discovering your passion. Or should I say, rediscovering your passion. What did you love to do when you were a kid? Before you had to worry about earning a living, what was your main thing? Did you love dressing up, playing games, telling stories, make-believe, playing cops and robbers, reading stories, singing, playing with your pets, watching cartoons? And how true is that to you now? What elements of that thing that you love to do are still present in your life? Is there a hint of it? This was the root of your passion and your calling. Can you reclaim any part of it? When I was a little kid, I used to make books. I built them, I illustrated them, I wrote them, I read them, I arranged them, I collected them, I dreamt about them. And now I spend my days writing essays and running a company whose middle name is book. So despite all the things that I do, that is still my passion. I've come back to it. And how about you? Are you being true to yours? Your pal, Danny. And I always write a little PS on the end of my essays on Friday. And this is what I wrote this last Friday. I said, P.S. We were watching the Oscars last weekend, and I had a flash of inspiration when they handed out the award for Best Animated Short. Hey, I said to Jenny and Twiglet, I made an animated short. I'm going to send it to the Academy for next year's show. And I was feeling pretty good about that idea until I started thinking about, what'll I wear to the ceremonies? Should I go classic black tux, or maybe something a little bit more creative? pink jacket like The Rock, embroidery like the two Daniels, maybe a man's skirt, Bulgari cufflinks, and which designer should I allow to collaborate with me? Well, we'll see. There's plenty of time for that, but I should start working on my acceptance speech as soon as possible. And don't worry, I'll remember to thank you. So there you go. That was this week's essay talking about, I think, a pretty important thing, a thing that's important to me, which is doing what you love. Most of us feel like we can't possibly make a living doing what we love. But the question is, can you find some aspect of the thing that you love and make that a part of your life again? I meet so many people who said, you know what, I'm an architect, I'm a graphic designer, I'm an art director. And I started out going to art school and studying art and studying design because I loved to draw when I was a kid. And you know what? Now that I have this career, I make brochures for a bank. I design websites for a pharmaceutical company. And I never draw. I never paint. I never sit down and just have fun. And why? Because when I think about it in terms of professionalism. And I say to myself, well, I don't know if I'm good enough to be an illustrator. I don't know if I could, I couldn't put on a show. I couldn't go to a gallery with this stuff. I'm not good enough to make a living at it. So therefore, guess what? I won't do it at all. And that's sad. That's sad to miss out on that thing that you love, that made you kind of what you are today, but you cut off the part that you love the most because you're worried what other people are going to think. And you're worried about making money from it. But that doesn't mean you have to stop doing it. It just means you have to put it into a certain part of your life. You know, I spent years and years writing for other people. And I spent years and years using my creative skills to make a living. But on the side, I would always kind of do stuff, you know. Now we call them side hustles, which I think is still kind of ugly. Why can't that be the thing that you do that you love? Why can't you keep doing that? Why can't you still listen to Harry Potter books on tape and draw? Why not? Surely you can find a little bit of time in your schedule to do that thing, not for any other reason, but just because you love it. We're afraid to let ourselves do that. We don't feel like we deserve it. We feel guilty that if we're spending time doing that kind of thing that we love, that somehow, you know, we're taking time away from something else. I feel like I come back to these messages time and again when I talk to you and I say, you know what? Just do what you enjoy and have fun and figure out some way to fit that into your life somewhere. Stop worrying about whether you'll be bad at it and start worrying about whether you'll have fun at it. And you won't have fun at it if you're worrying about being bad at it. So maybe stop worrying about being bad at it and focus on the fun. You don't have to be good at everything. Particularly if you're not doing it for anybody else, do it for yourself. Enjoy it. But think about what is it that you really want to do. I gave an example of drawing or writing, but you know, if there are other things that you really loved as a kid, think back when you were 6, 7 years old, you loved telling stories, or you loved, you know, watching cartoons. What does that mean to love watching cartoons? Loved being in a world of imagination, loved characters. Maybe there's something in there that is where you should really go back to. Just think about it. Let me know what you think. And in the meantime, sign up for Danny'sEssays.com. And one of the things is, if you sign up for my essays and you have something you want to say to me about it, you get an essay, just write back to me. Just reply to the email and I'll read it. And I'll try and get back to you if there's something that I can help you with. But other than that, I'll see you again next Monday, hopefully, when I read you next Friday's essay. And I hope it's helpful. Thanks for joining me today. This was fun. See you later.